It says I'm live. Here we go. Just ignore the crappy background. I moved recently, and I'm working on my decorations. I got my hats here. I got the Chicago. I'm going to change all that. I just moved. Okay. I have no idea what I'm doing. That's not true, though. Working local radio, sports radio. It's about time. I'm just trying to get comfortable here. So just bear with me now. That is my humidifier over here. That's my humidifier right here. Nothing better. If you know me, you know I got my humidifier. I got my golf clubs going golfing for the first time in a long time. First time since like October here in a couple of days. So I'm excited. So this is my first show. I do know what I'm doing. This is my first show, though. It's about 20 years too late, but we'll figure all that stuff out. I might need to prop this up. This probably looks better if I move it around like this. You know what I mean? So bear with me. We're going to get better and better. It's not going to be pretty at start, but we're going to get better and better. This is my bed behind me where the magic never happens. So this is my first show. It's either going to be called The Big Show or we'll do it live. If you have another idea, please hit the comments, hit the chat, and let me know. I'm going to start getting this out hopefully a little bit more. So today we're going not going to take too much of your time. It's going to be 15, 20 minutes. We're going to be talking Chicago sports, NFL, NBA, even some Major League Baseball. Why the heck not? You know what I mean? So we're going to talk Bears, new Bears, Bears wide receivers, Bears offensive line, Bears NFL draft. A lot of Bears, baby. The Bulls, the Red Hot Bulls, winners of 4 straight. Josh Giddey on fire. Bulls won that trade. Bulls won both Zach LaVine trades. Thank you very much. Kobe White, ice cold. Sub-zero Kobe White. Thank you very much. Matas Puzelas, red hot as well. Is he the rookie of the year? No, he's not, but he's damn good as well. I think they got him at the 10 pick. You don't need the 1 pick to get somebody good, guys, in the NBA and in the NFL too. We'll talk NFL draft. March Madness. Cooper Flagg is out. Ramifications, y'all. What does ramifications even mean? Ramifications of Cooper Flagg being out. Auburn is now the favorite. Duke's been the favorite all year long. No, I don't care about these updates. We'll try again tonight. Computer's acting a fool right now. So Indiana. So March Madness. Cooper Flagg's out. The ramifications. Indiana next coach. We're going to talk Northwestern hoops. Chris Collins getting a little mouthy, but we're going to start with the Bears, baby. The Bears add receiver. The Bears been on a shopping spree all free agency season long. They added Olamide Zaccheaus. God, I was practicing this name all day long. Let's try again. Olamide Zaccheaus on a 1-year deal. My boy Theo Ash, legendary social media scout, loves him. He loves him. I love him. Versatile role player is what he called him. Slot man, classic slot man, and a classic you don't block or no block, no rock. So he's gonna block for DJ Moore on those bubble screens that I can't stand, that we all know and love, and I can't stand. No block, no rock for our running backs. DeAndre Swift, hopefully more than Roschon Johnson. We probably need a little bit more than Roschon Johnson coming up this year. They added Olamide Zaccheaus, slot man, versatile role player, damn good slot receiver. 27 years old, had a career best 45 receptions, 3 touchdowns in 17 games for the Commanders. We hate the Commanders around here. Don't even get me started on the Commanders, obviously. Played from the Falcons from 19 to 22 and then the Eagles in the 23 campaign. Played for some good teams, played for some good quarterbacks. Ben Johnson sought him out. Tim Patrick, I think, was the guy that a lot of Bears fans wanted in Detroit. He just re-signed with Detroit. So I think Patrick was waiting for the Bears to offer him, never came. And the Bears signed Olamide Zaccheaus. Hit the chat if I'm saying that wrong. Please help me out. Again, this background's ugly. Don't worry, we're going to get back. We're only getting started here, as you can see in the thumbnail. That pretty thumbnail. We're just getting started here. So, Bears add Zaccheaus, awesome. They've been going crazy on the shopping spree this year. 149 receptions, 13 touchdowns over 6 NFL seasons. He also played a very important role on special teams and a kick returner. Bears need a kick returner. Tyler Scott was okay at kick returner. And then it was a Bellamy. Am I wrong on that? I probably am wrong on that. The guy who returned the punt against the Panthers. He's also or against the Packers, excuse me. He can also have some fun on special teams as well. So Bears just keep getting better. A lot of people have been saying the Bears win another offseason for the Bears. Another offseason the Bears have won. The Bears never win any season, period. Preseason, postseason, regular season, offseason. The Bears never win anything. So I don't really understand this joke. Oh, the Bears win all the – no, they don't. The Bears don't win anything, my guy. I'm in my 40s. The Bears have never won anything in my life. So with Olamide, they got DJ, the Bears wide receiver room. They got DJ, they got Rome, they got Olamide, and they got Tyler Scott and a couple more randoms. That's 4 wide receivers. They need to add a little bit more to that. They need to get a little bit, I don't know about younger there, because they got Rome, but don't be surprised if they take a look at the Arizona wide receiver. I'm just going to call him Tet McMillan. Absolute freak. And this is in the NFL draft. So the Bears are drafting 10. Obviously, everybody wants O-line. They want D-line. You can get O-line and D-line later in the draft as well. You should take the best player available, as we all know. Maybe that's an offensive lineman. Maybe that's a defensive lineman. A lot of people just want to focus on the trenches. They've been going crazy in the NFL free agency in the trenches this offseason. So I think they should take best player available, which we all do. And don't be surprised if they look for some skill guys, like if Tet's available, if Ashton Jeanty, of course, is available. Everyone loves Ashton Jeanty as well. So, and then you get the 2 tight ends, you get the Penn State tight end, and then you got the Michigan tight end as well. So don't be surprised if they take a look at Tet McMillan, 6'4", 220, Arizona wide receiver, absolute freak, super freak. Is he better than Rome is the question. Like, he might be better than Rome. That's how good he is. So I like Rome. Tet's a super freak, would fit in just fine on the offense. He fit in a lot. Tet fit in a lot better when they didn't have Olamide, aka Oz. But he's still a freak, still a stud. Still need some wide receivers. The Bears still need some wide receivers, and also don't be surprised if they take a look at Tyler Warren, the Penn State tight end as well. 6'5", 250. I'm not the biggest Cole Kmet fan in the world. Local kid done good. We love our local folks around here. Michigan tight end Colston Loveland is out there too. Again, I'm not the biggest Cole Kmet fan. Ben Johnson loves tight ends. Ben Johnson had a tight end, Hawkinson, traded him to Minnesota. They brought in the other Iowa kid too. So Ben Johnson loves tight ends. Probably have 2 or 3 athletic guys, including I think it's Smythe. Dalton Smythe, Bears Smythe. I don't know why I care about this. Durham Smythe. I knew that. So Bears draft. Don't be surprised if they look for skill at the top, even though everybody wants O-line, D-line. Their O-line's pretty set. The Bears need to draft a player who's going to play next year. They don't need to take some depth on the offensive line. If they draft a defensive lineman, he's probably going to play right away because the Bears defense stinks, or the defensive line stinks. Linebackers are okay. The secondary is great. It's been a no-fly zone in that secondary for a long, long time. So obviously I wouldn't mind a defensive end, an edge, or just when in doubt, just draft a Georgia defender. Just draft a Georgia defender. You know what I mean? That rarely goes wrong. So always works for me. So Bears draft, don't be surprised if they look towards skill positions, even though they need help on both sides in the trenches on the offense and the defensive line. I love Tet McMillan. I love Tyler Warren, and Colston Loveland as well. Yes, they need trenches. Yes, they need more offensive line. They can get depth later in the draft, and they can get defensive. They have 3 picks in the top 41. You got room for some defenders on that side of the ball later in the draft as well. The Bears extended their offensive guard, Jonah Jackson. They traded a 2025 6th-round pick. That's a steal with 2 years left on his deal. Jackson, they extended his deal to 2027. So not only did they trade for Jackson, Ben Johnson's a big fan. Ben Johnson called him a Pro Bowl caliber guard, and that's what they're going to get out of him, is what he said. So Ben Johnson's a big fan. They traded for him. They traded nothing for him, just 6th-rounder. Have fun with your special teamer that's going to be cut in like 300 days. Just a steal of a draft. We fleeced Los Angeles, but LA is just trying to get out of that money. We'll take that. We'll gladly take that money, and we will gladly protect Caleb Williams. So the Bears extended offensive guard Jonah Jackson, traded for a 2025 6th-round pick, total steal. He's got 2 years left on his deal. He's making a whole bunch of money, but that's all good. So here's the Bears offensive line going forward. Left tackle Braxton Jones snapped his ankle in one of the last games of the year. Still going to be Brian Poles picked him in the fifth round a couple years ago. He's going to be the left tackle next year unless he can't get healthy. Tooney at left guard, Dahlman at center, Jonah Jackson at right guard, and Darnell Wright at right tackle. So guard to guard, brand new. That was our free agent shopping spree. And we took care of business in free agency in the trenches on the offensive side and the defensive side of the ball because we needed help there. Grady Jarrett was signed. Grady Jarrett's a stud. Signed defensive tackle on the defensive line. So the Bears offensive line going forward as of right now, Braxton Jones, left tackle, Tooney, Dahlman, Jonah, Darnell. Today on the score, we asked Brian Baldinger, and we asked, we talked about are the Bears the Bears were a top 25 offensive line last year. Now they're a top 10 offensive line, just in the snap of a finger. So you can always buy offensive line. And that's why I'm like, hey, and if you're drafting in the top 10, you don't have to draft offensive line right now. We took care of that. Go get you a top tier wide receiver. Go get you a nice running back. Go get you a stud tight end. Go get you the best player available. So you don't need to force the offensive line in the draft because they took care of it in free agency. Are you guys comfortable with that offensive line? Hit the text line 312-644-6767. That's a joke. That's the Scores hotline. But are you comfy with that? Hit the chat room right to your right there. I'm comfy with that. Hopefully Kieran can play a little bit. He was brutal last year. They put him in a bad spot. Not really his fault. What is he? A third round pick from the Ivy League, and they made him a starter in Minnesota, maybe the hardest stadium to play in, and he's a rookie. Just last year was so awful. I don't even think about it. Ryan Bates still on the team. Bill Murray is still on the team. Shout out Bill Murray, local guy, done good. I don't think he is, but that's a Chicago joke for you. Bill Murray, smartest man on the line last year is what I've heard. Matt Pryor probably not coming back, but I was impressed with him last year. Probably not coming back, but he was great as well. Offensive line is probably the easiest thing you can fix, even though the Bears have never had a good one. Going back to the draft, you're looking, people are talking about the offensive line and Will Campbell's falling because I think he's a guard with T-Rex arms. He's got little teeny arms. His arms are like 32 inches, under 33 inches, and there isn't a starting tackle with under 33-inch arms. It's insane. So he might be a guard. He might be a versatile swing man on the offensive line who just can plug and play anywhere, center, guard, maybe even fill in on a little tackle too. So Kelvin Banks Jr. On Texas, I've seen his name for the Bears as well on the offensive line. I think he's falling as well. And then our guy Armand Membo on Missouri, he's a fast riser. He's ascending because he's got awesome arms, and he performed really well at Missouri. He was in the SEC, obviously, at Missouri, and he played a brutal schedule, facing some top-tier defensive ends, and held his own as just as good as the LSU kid Campbell and just as good as Banks as well, too. So you're going to see this Missouri kid rising up draft boards. So that's it for the Bears. The Bears cleaned up in free agency. I don't know if they won the offseason. The Bears don't win any seasons. This is just ridiculous that people are saying this. The Bears don't win any seasons. They never have, and they never will for as long as I've been alive. So they cleaned up in free agency, picked up a whole bunch of offensive linemen, picked up Grady Jarrett. Shout out Grady Jarrett, 3 years. I think he's been an all-pro. He's been a Pro Bowler for a bunch of years too. So he's been a great player. And hopefully we can sack the quarterback. So go Bears. Moving on. We're going to move on to the Chicago Bulls. This is my Las Vegas Aviators Cup. I have 2 of them double cupped up, obviously. Shout out to the Aviators. We love our Aviators around here. Hit the chat. Let me know your favorite Aviator. It doesn't have to be a baseball player. It can just be an Aviator. So the Bulls, the Chicago Bulls, our Chicago Bulls. I'll clean up this mess next time. But we're going to get better here, too. You got the Chicago handshake. Shout out if you've ever had a Chicago handshake, a little Walter Payton Matsui, Chicago. You got your D-Rose hat here. This is supposed to be a three-peat Chicago Bulls. Anyway, the Red Hot Chicago Bulls, 4-game winning streak, smoking hot, red hot. I think they're 5 games up in for the last play-in spot, game and a half out of the 9 seed behind the terrible Miami Heat. The funny thing about the Miami Heat is they've been brutal all year. They're the 9 seed. They're a game and a half up on the Chicago Bulls, our Chicago Bulls, and they might win that division. I think that division's the Magic, who are just ahead of them, who are barely hanging on that division, and it's like the Washington Wizards, and there's another brutal team in there too. So the Miami Heat have been terrible all year long, and they still might win that division. So the Bulls are 5 games up for that last playoff spot. That thing's pretty much 90% locked up for the Bulls. So the Bulls are going to go in the play-in game whether you like it or not. They do have a really tough 6-game road trip coming up, but they're still they're like 80-90% locked into that play-in tournament. And everybody knows. So get your Tank out of my face. Get your Cooper Flagg out of my face, which we'll get to in a little bit. Cooper Flagg's a stud. Might be out a couple weeks here too. The Duke might hold him out till the Sweet 16. So can Duke make it that far without their best player? We'll see. So Josh Giddey, since the All-Star break, just been on fire. The Bulls won that Caruso trade. Thank you very much. The Bulls are pretty much the same team with or without Caruso, with or without Zach LaVine. Just like I've said this whole entire time. The Bulls didn't need Zach LaVine. I love Zach LaVine. I think he's one of the better guards in the NBA. I think he's one of the better scorers in the NBA. I think he's an elite scorer. Just didn't really translate to wins, unfortunately. So and Alex Caruso is a hell of a player. He signed a big old contract with one of the best teams in the NBA, with the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think it was 4 years, 100 million, 4 years, 80 million. So he got his money, got paid. And he affects winning, but the Bulls didn't really win much with him. And the Thunder are winning all those games with or without Alex Caruso. Thank you very much. Josh Giddey has been electric since the All-Star break. 23 points a game, 11 rebounds per game, over 8 assists per game, a steal per game, second in the NBA in three-point percentage since the All-Star game. I call him Chicago's LeBron James. Thank you very much. He's been awesome. He's been electric. Bulls won the Caruso trade. Bulls won both Zach LaVine trades. Jimmy Butler for Zach LaVine and Lauri Markkanen. That's a hell of a trade for the Bulls there. That's guard packs. Hashtag fire guard packs. Don't even get me started on that. They probably should never have fired guard packs. And then LaVine for Zach Collins, Trey Jones, and Kevin Huerter. When the Bulls made that trade, I said that's 3 good players. That's 3 NBA players. All 3 make a whole bunch of money, by the way. Zach Collins makes 20 million or 18 million bucks. Trey Jones makes 10 million bucks, and Kevin Huerter makes over 15 million bucks. So if you're making a lot of money in the NBA, you're probably pretty good. There are bad contracts out there. Don't get me started. Patrick Williams is one of them. He's probably a top 10 worst contract in the NBA. Scores 10 points a game, makes 20 million bucks. No bueno. 5 years left on that deal. Nobody does 5-year deals in sports anymore. And the Bulls gave an unproven player 5 years, 90 million. Classic Bulls. Josh Giddey's been electric. The Bulls have been electric. Kobe White's on fire. Kobe White has been, I think, 5-6 games over 20 points in a row. The funny thing is about the Bulls. So the Bulls are on red hot. They're 4-game winning streak. They're 5 games up in the playoffs. They're going to the play-on. The tank is over. You're not getting Cooper Flagg, which we'll get to in a few. But in classic Chicago sports and Chicago Bulls fashion, the Chicago Bulls banners, the only thing we got in this town, this city, championship-wise, pretty much, is these damn banners at the United Center hanging from the rafters. And they are out for the season due to too much pyro at the Disturbed concert. Disturbed, local guys. I had no idea. I can't name them. Hit the chat. Let me know a Disturbed song in the chat. Maybe I should sit up straight a little bit better. That's something I should have been doing since the beginning, huh? So the Chicago Bulls banners are out for the season. Classic Chicago due to too much pyro at the Disturbed show. Shout out Disturbed. Local guys done good. Banners were, according to the Tribune, Chicago Tribune, banners were removed after sustaining minor damage during a concert featuring hard rock acts Disturbed. I got more. 3 Days Grace and Seven Dust. Sure. I'm 0 for 3 on that. I do know Disturbed, but I don't know if I can't name their songs. They reportedly used pyrotechnics directly underneath the banners. Just classic Chicago, classic United Center. Shout out to the UC. We love the UC, but just the only thing we got in the city, sports-wise, championships-wise, is those dang banners, and we love those banners around here. And of course, they are almost burned down. From the Tribune, United Center is currently working with the Bulls to explore options to repair these banners. The United Center communication said in a statement, while the banners will not be in place for the remainder of the season, we do anticipate them being back in place next season. So I can't wait to see them next season when we're fighting for that 10 seed as well. Do you think the Bulls are going to do anything? Do you think they'll be better next year? I think they'll probably be a 10 seed next year, probably. Classic Chicago sports. Is there a dumber sports city in America than Chicago? Like, we got nothing, man. We got the Cubs are perpetual dopes. Like, they're the lovable losers. You got the Bulls stink since Magic Johnson, since Michael Jordan. Bears have never won anything in my whole entire life. DePaul, Northwestern, always terrible. All we got in the city is Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky. The Chicago Sky have won the most recent championship. They're damn good, and Angel Reese is a baller. She reminds me of Joe Kim Noah. Hard hustle and muscle, folks. So back to the Bulls. Get your tank out of my face. Not going to happen. The NBA draft is looking like Cooper Flagg. We're going to talk March. This is going to lead us into some March Madness here. Thanks for hanging out. I think we're about 15 minutes in. We'll start speeding. We'll start going through this stuff a little bit quicker here. So get your tank out of my face. NBA draft the Cooper Flagg is injured. He's going to be out for a couple weeks, maybe even a month. That's a nasty ankle sprain. Still the number 1 pick. Rutgers, season's over. I think they were 15-19 this year. They were terrible. They got the 2 and the 3 pick. Dylan Harper, Ron Harper's son, damn good player, lefty shooting guard. Obviously James Harden comparisons. Ace Bailey going 3. So Rutgers had 2 of the top 3 picks, and they are going to be 2 and 3, and they're both great. Rutgers was terrible all season. You need defense, you need defense, rebounding, heart, hustle, and muscle. Not that those kids don't; they're very talented, but the rest of the team stunk. Your 4 pick's going to be VJ Edgecombe. I think he's from Bahamas. I think he's a Bahamian baller. He's with Baylor, a Bahamian baller from Baylor. He's a stud, absolute freak, athletically. And then our guy with the Alina Casper, and that's pretty much your top 5. Personally, the Bulls are going to be around the 10 pick. Bears, Bulls, Cubs, always just the 10th pick. That's all we got. I hope the Bulls take Jeremiah Fears from Joliet. He's at Oklahoma with Porter Moser. So Porter's been recruiting him for a very, very long time. So I hope the Bulls take Jeremiah Fears or Derek Queen, big man from Maryland, absolute stud. Two studs. Jeremiah's like 6'4" guard, so electric freshman. He's definitely going pro after this year. Oklahoma, their season might be ended. My head's on a swivel. It's March Madness. I got games here. I got games here. Michigan State, Oregon, tight late. Okay, so we'll go to the madness here. Like I said, I got my head on a swivel, watching a whole bunch of games here. Cooper Flagg out, big March Madness ramifications. John Shire called him a long shot to play tonight. We're recording this Friday mid-afternoon. I'm taking a real nice nap after this one. Might do some ab work. Might do an ab workout, but I'm taking a real nice nap after this one. John Shire called him a long shot to play tonight. Cooper Flagg, a long shot to play tonight. He's going to be out for a bit. That's a nasty ankle sprain, and they don't need him till the Sweet 16, in my point of view. Listen, man, you got the number 1 recruiting class, one of the better recruiting classes in a long, long time. John Shire, you don't need him, right? You're good, right? Right? Auburn is now the slight favorite. Duke was the favorite all year, I want to say. They were a slight favorite. It's been Auburn and Duke all year long. And now Auburn is a slight favorite to win it all at plus 350. Duke is plus 360 now. I think that's from our friends at DraftKings. Personally, I'm thinking Houston before the bracket comes out. I'm going to take Houston to win it. That's going to change here on Sunday. It's Shout Out Selection Sunday. Maybe Houston, Auburn. I'm going to take those big, strong physical teams. I think the talented freshman team at Duke, yes, they're very talented. Yes, they are freshmen. All you got to do, you want to know how you beat freshmen? You rough them up, Dano. You rough them up. So there's other teams like Sparty, who's tight. Sparty, Florida, Tennessee, Johnny's, and Bama. I love teams that call me crazy. I love teams that can score and who are physical. That's going to win. UConn could do anything offensively, and they were extremely, extremely physical too as well. There's historically that always wins as well too. So clearly the NBA product is better. I'm a bigger NBA fan than crappy college hoops, but this is the All-American tournament. This is the best thing in American sports. It's madness, and the madness never disappoints. You got to love the madness. This week might even be better than the madness with the conference tournaments. Like Wednesday, there's 40 games, bananas, bad beats left and right, buzzer beaters left and right, bananas. Love it. Wednesday was crazy. Thursday was crazy. So many games. And then Friday, Saturday, the amount of games kind of dwindles, but still so much fun. The Great American Tournament, you got to love it. Wrapping up here. We're about 20 minutes in. I'm going probably too long here. Nobody cares what I got to say, but we'll wrap up here. Busy week at Northwestern Hoops. We're talking Northwestern Hoops. And when you talk Northwestern Hoops, probably not a good thing. So Northwestern Hoops lost in the Big Ten tournament to Wisconsin early this week. I think it was Thursday night. Their coach, Chris Collins, was furious about no air conditioning in the hotel. I guess they had no air conditioning in the hotel. And like I said, I'm a princess. I'm a princess from Palatine, man. I'm a princess from Palatine. I got my humidifier here, and it better be 65 degrees in my bedroom when I go to sleep. Otherwise, I'm a cranky bastard the rest of the night. So Chris Collins was furious about no air conditioning, and he made it into like us against the world type deal. Like, Chris, you're Northwestern Hoops. It's not, nobody cares about Northwestern Hoops. It's not an us against the world type deal here. We love your dad around here. We love Doug. We love Doug. We love Doug Collins. We love Coach Collins. I worked with Doug Collins at ESPN. Look at me, Louie. But nobody cares about Northwestern Hoops, I promise. One thing that kind of irritated me was Colin said that Northwestern will not play in any postseasons. I don't know the reason. I am curious why. We'll never find out why. But Northwestern is not playing in any postseason basketball this year, which is crazy to me. It's not a budget thing. Like my Salukis, they have budget problems, and they've said no to postseason tournaments before because they can't afford. Like if you don't make the NCAA tournament, I think you have to pay your own way into the NCAA tournament. So it makes no sense to me. Like Northwestern's a private school in Evanston, Illinois. Like they got money, they got paper, y'all. Okay. So other teams have done this, notably my Salukis, but they're not broke. So I don't really understand. We're never going to find out the reason why Northwestern isn't going to the, like, there's nothing wrong with NIT, CBI, and there's even more. I think there's 2 more after that too. So like I said, I think you have to pay your way to play in those non-March Madness tournaments, but we'll never find out. Chris Collins said Northwestern's not playing any postseason basketball. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Chris Collins, his agent is working overtime to get Chris Collins' name out there for the Indiana hoops job. Not happening, Chris Collins. Nobody, not going to happen. Nobody wants Chris Collins to. No high level school is going to hire Chris Collins as their next coach. Now, according to Bovada, the odds to be the next Indiana basketball coach are Greg McDermott is the odds-on favorite. He's minus 200 at Bovada. It might have changed by now. So he's minus 200. Ben McCollum from Drake plus 225. So Greg McDermott, Ben McCollum from Drake are your 2 favorites. I think the Ben McCollum guy, he's 43 years old. He's born in Iowa City. I think Iowa's going to part ways with Fran McCaffrey here soon. I think that's a seamless transition on over to Iowa City for Ben McCollum, the Drake coach going to the Iowa Hawkeyes. So Greg McDermott is the favorite. Ben McCollum maybe at Indiana. Brad Brownell for Clemson. Sure, Clemson's pretty good. Chris Beard, Will Wade, and Steve Alford and Rick Pitino. If you're looking for coaches with baggage who are damn good, Chris Beard, Will Wade, Steve Alford ain't damn good, but he's got baggage. And he's got connections to Indiana, obviously. And Coach Pitino, the GOAT. So Greg McDermott, according to Bavana, is the favorite, the odds-on favorite at minus 200. But Chris Collins, you ain't going to Indiana, fam. They should look at Kelvin Sampson as well. That's a joke for you Indiana fans out there. So really quick, wrapping up here, the Texas Rangers hats. If you guys haven't seen this, look up Texas Rangers hats. It'll pop right up. They said Tetas on them, a Spanish word for breasts. Those hats are going for nearly $1,000 on eBay. The Texas Rangers Tetas hats, $1,000 on eBay. That's insane. That's hilarious. That's classic America. Gotta love it. And last but definitely not least, RIP to John Feinstein. Season on the brink. RIP. Hall of Fame sports writer. Just died recently. A VIP in sports writing, a VIP in the sports world. So shout out to John Feinstein and his family. RIP. Rest in power. The GOAT. And I appreciate you guys watching. If you guys watched from now until the end, I love you guys. So hit the chat, hit the comments, let me know. Text line 312-644-6767. That's a joke. That's a score joke. But you can text me. You got my number, and we can talk more as we go on. Thanks, guys. We'll be back soon. We're going to do this a lot more. See you guys.